Hello and welcome to the Learn How to See Better podcast, the only podcast out there known to actually improve your vision the longer you listen. This is your host, Drew Davis, and I'm glad you've joined me here today. I can't wait to share some great information with you about how to improve your health, wealth, and relationships. So let's get right down to it, shall we? Hey everyone, this is Drew, and thanks for joining me again on the Learn How to See Better podcast. And today I am taking a moment to just evaluate the week ahead because I've taken the time to reflect on the week behind. As you know, that's one of the key elements in learning how to see better is learning how to reflect and look back on the past weeks of events, the past accomplishments that you've had over the last few days, and being able to assess that so that you can reinvest that into the coming week. And as I think about the week ahead, I'll be back on the road traveling, and I'm pretty excited about the week ahead because I'm going to be able to network with some fellow business owners, entrepreneurs, and investors. And one great thing about this meeting of the minds is it's not just to get together and hang out with other business owners. It's actually a meeting of the minds, literally. It is a mastermind event. And if you haven't heard of that term, you'll find that it's there's a little bit of buzz around the phrase masterminds these days, and it actually makes me think of the first time I actually was introduced to the concept of a mastermind and what it's done for me. Because the biggest thing I would say that I've found with a mastermind is that they are very powerful in concept. And before I get ahead of myself, I'll take you on a journey with me just a couple of years back to when I was first getting exposed to a mastermind. I remember being at a real estate investing event, a lot of entrepreneurs that are looking to get their businesses off the ground, transition out of corporate America. And there was an opportunity there with a particular group to join a mastermind, to invest in ourselves and in our ongoing education, and join this group of other individuals that are already having success. And that was one big thing that was an attractive component of getting involved with this group, is that they had seen some of the successes that we were looking to see at the time, and realized that as both now full-time real estate entrepreneurs, if we wanted to level up and ascend to what was waiting for us as far as levels of success, we were going to have to make that leap of faith. And I remember just the thought being that, okay, we need to be responsible entrepreneurs. We've just fired our bosses and, we're kicking up dust and making all sorts of things happen. But at the same time, to get ready for this type of investment in ourselves, we're really going to have to step it up, dig in our pockets a little bit, and really channel energy and a little bit of cash into this new venture that we didn't really have on the radar from a planning standpoint. So I remember there being a little bit of fear there, right? One of them being that, okay, is this the right time to be making a more aggressive financial decision to invest in ourselves? Or should we be a little bit more conservative while we learn this new landscape of being completely untethered and completely cut off from corporate America and all of those built-in quote unquote protections that keep everybody asleep at the wheel, to be frank. And so there was also, competing with that was the drive that we have internally to succeed, just saying like, my goodness, if this is going to be the opportunity that helps us get to the point where we can grow and level up and really achieve the success that we're after, why wouldn't we want to go after that? So we were a little bit stuck in the back and forth between what's the right thing to do versus what's the most responsible thing to do. And it was like, oh my goodness. And I realized that at the heart of any shift in identity, if you really want to make a change in who you are, you have to go back to the very fundamental thing that I had learned at least a decade earlier. And that was the concept of be, do, and have. It's that simple. If you want to have what someone else has, or so say you look up to somebody, right? You look up to whether it's a star athlete or a person that's got, a great physique or stature and power, or, whatever the case may be. It's be, do, have. And if you want to have the things that this other individual has, then you have to not only do, obviously, what they do, but you have to be that person. You have to think that way. You have to be a millionaire in your mind before you will ever have an opportunity to become a millionaire in your pocket. You must be healthy first in your mind before you can ever expect to be healthy in your waistline. And that's one of those things that's so simple, but the real shift in identity is that be. And you can sit there and try the do and talk about the have, but until you become the person, until you become successful, until you become a person of attractive character, then you will have the things that attractive people have, that successful people have, that healthy people have. And so it really does come in that order. And so often, many of us might get stuck in the doing, thinking if I just go through the same set of steps, you'll automatically have. And that's not quite it, because the real shift in identity happens at the be. And that's the mentality, the thinking process. And to be able to adopt that new identity is the key component to being able to accelerate your transformation. So you've got to be able to do that as soon as possible. And we saw, just that short couple of years ago that we were kind of stuck to level up who we were and what we were going through in our business. And we recognized that, okay, if we're going to ascend up from and beyond where we are now, we're going to have to push past. And so we set out on that new opportunity, and we set out to pursue some of those changes and welcome those changes into our life by getting involved with a mastermind and surrounding ourselves with other successful individuals. And it was intimidating because in a lot of scenarios, you're challenged with not just learning new information, but putting that information into action. And even more scary is you've got to report back the results. And that was one scary thing on this journey for us, is to realize that part of that shift in identity and understanding how key and critical it is to your evolution as an entrepreneur and to ascend up the success ladder, so to speak. But with that comes the necessity to be vulnerable and to talk about those results and to talk about the areas where you're struggling and having a hard time, or you're hitting the bumpy roads or scraping your knees and elbows, and bringing that back and realizing that when you're moving forward into the area of the unknown, if you are shrouded in a group of individuals that are supporting you, you can share those vulnerabilities, those mistakes, those setbacks in an environment that's like a safe haven. And you'll be able to share freely and without judgment. And I think that's one of the things that can help propel us into a stage of growth, when we know we can kind of lay it all out there on the line and say, hey, this is what I'm up to. This is what I've done. Here's the scenario I've created. Here's where I'm struggling. And, I've got to the point where I've push things as far as I can go, and I need some assistance. I need assistance with guidance on next steps. And it's really about growing to become bigger than our problems. And that's what I think we're all trying to do, is grow to the point where we have as few problems as we can in life, understanding that certain things are going to be inevitable. And I think that it's also important for us to see that when we will put it out there a little bit more so we can nudge ourselves into the uncomfortable zone, we really create an opportunity for growth. And in many cases, it's accelerated growth beyond our wildest dreams or imaginations. It's just us being willing to adopt a new identity. And that's what I found through involvement in the mastermind that we're a part of, is that not just from the association with other like-minded individuals, but the ability and willingness to be vulnerable and to talk about the struggles, the successes, and everything in between, and to receive that positive feedback as well as constructive criticism to help us see better, to help us understand the blind spots that we have, the mistakes that we're making, the errors in judgment, so that we can quickly correct those and get ourselves back on a path of progression, so that we're not spinning our wheels like so many people do. And you can be ambitious and just not clear on some of your objectives, and you'll find yourself spinning your wheels, and you can burn out that way. And so the idea for us and the ability for us to join a mastermind and get better insight and learn how to see better and to recognize our own internal limiting beliefs and to be able to get clarity, because clarity leads to power and it allows you to get traction in your business so you can really accelerate your progress rather. And that's really what it's all about, reaching your peak potential. And so for us, my wife and I, the involvement in the mastermind that we are currently a part of, and we'll be traveling to visit with some of our tribe members next week, is a key and critical thing to our growth. And it's one of the many reasons we've learned how to see better is because we are leveling up the individuals in our surroundings and making sure that anytime we're trying to go somewhere, if you want to go to Disneyland, the best advice that you're going to get is a toured out guide that's been to Disneyland 20, 30, 40 times, and they know exactly where to go and exactly where to take it and exactly the right way to do it. And similarly, if you're trying to grow a business, you want to get surrounded with those types of individuals that have had that success, that are going that same direction, so that you can accelerate your time to reaching your destination. So that's one of the ways that learning how to see better can be powerful. So as I reflect the week behind and look forward to the week ahead, it's just one of those moments where I give thanks to the fact that I made the decision and I had the epiphany to recognize the value that a mastermind can bring to my world and to the world of our business, and how it can help us to graduate and ascend to new levels. So for any of you out there that have the opportunity to link with like-minded individuals that are going places, same direction as you, and have more than just a common past, but perhaps more critically, a common future involved, take that opportunity and run with it. It could be one of the most exciting adventures that you ever embark on. So with that, that was what I wanted to share for today, looking at the week ahead, the power of the mastermind, and the power of the willingness to shift one's identity in order to reach your maximum potential. Again, this is Drew Davis with the Learn How to See Better podcast. So we've enjoyed this listening material today, and be sure to subscribe and share it with a friend. Until next time, thank you and see you later. Well, all right. That was some great content, wasn't it? Well, thank you. I appreciate that. I'm glad you liked it. This is your host, Drew Davis, and I want to thank you for listening to the Learn How to See Better podcast today. And don't forget to subscribe and tune in for future episodes, and be sure to share with a friend if you are enjoying this content. Thanks, and see you next time.
The podcast you just heard was made using Anchor. Ever thought about making your own podcast? Anchor makes it really easy for anyone to get started. It's a one-stop shop for recording, hosting, and distributing podcasts. Best of all, it's 100% free. Sign up now at anchor.fm/new. That's anchor.fm/new to get started.